Everybody clap your hands, dance, for you know our God is victorious. Breaking every chains with His love for us. Everybody clap your hands, dance, for you know our God is victorious. Breaking every chain with His love for us. Oh, your love, it makes me wanna shout. Inside of my heart,
right, take out your Bibles, hold them up as high as you can. Lock your elbow. Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the, I didn't even, 6, you guys were too late. I say, when I get up here, hold it up as quick as you can. The scores are in. It was 119 to 128 to 6. I love that the band just goes for it every day. They know the statistical chances of them actually winning Bible count, but they still go for it every day because that's what matters. That's what matters. All right, the winning team with 128 Bibles this morning was the blue team. So here you go. There you go. There's some points. All right, nice job. Red team, tomorrow could be your day. Don't give up. You guys take a lesson from the band. Don't give up. You never know. You never know. Blue team might all lose their Bibles and then find them again after Bible count's over. All right, coming up now, our daily news cast, completely live, WWJD in the morning.
Hi, I'm Lila. And hi, I'm Josh Perry. And you're watching WJD in the morning. Hey, Perry, why don't you tell them what activity we have this morning? Today's activity. Oh man, I forgot it. Foam Fiesta. Yes. Foam Fiesta is today's morning activity. My toupee fell off. Ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry. He's doing right. And not only that, we also have a volleyball tournament. Hey, give me that. Volleyball tournament. That's right. Thought that the beach day was enough? No. We're heading back for the volleyball. Oh my. Throw that. No. So, if you enjoy playing volleyball, go ahead. It's going to be a great time. Oh, he's throwing concrete! That's pretty much it. Thank you! See you on Saturday! Oh my gosh, the radio!
I don't know where you guys' newsroom is, but it is really crazy. Stuff just flying in. The important is CNN. The important news that you need to take away. This morning's activity is called Foam Fiesta. Say Foam Fiesta with me. You ready? Here we go. Foam Fiesta. And it is a totally awesome activity, but you should be prepared to get soapy. And sometimes there's water with the soap. So don't come to this activity thinking that you're going to stay dry, come ready to get soapy at the activity. It's at the turf court this morning, Foam Fiesta. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a party. That's why we call it Foam Fiesta. Foam Fiesta. Also, they were talking about the volleyball tournament that's happening today. It's going to be a fantastic day at the beach today. I saw tons of people playing volleyball yesterday, and today's going to be even bigger, even better than yesterday for the volleyball tournament at the beach. Also, I wanted to let you know about the Snack Shack special of the day.
Complaciendo para todos los bailadores con esta rola que dice 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cut. It's Thirsty Thursday today at the Snack Shack. So you can, oh my goodness. I was doing so good.
Complaciendo para todos los bailadores con esta rola que dice 1, 2, 3.
Cut. Thirsty Thursday, which means ice cream floats are only $1.50 today. Ice cream floats, which is the perfect opportunity for you to try something you probably never thought of before. But I'm here to tell you today, raspberry iced tea with a scoop of vanilla ice cream in it. You gotta try it. It's $1.50 today, and today only on Thirsty Thursday. The other thing that I also heard was good, lemonade with a scoop of vanilla ice cream in it. Yeah, that one is actually good. Raspberry iced tea, not really. Gatorade with ice cream in it, not really that good. Root beer with ice cream in it, not really that good. Lemonade with ice cream in it, phenomenal. Stop in and get one of those. Also, you guys saw the pizza commercials the other night. If you want to order pizza for Friday night, and I'm telling you, you should order it. It's not pizza from the kitchen, it's pizza from the pizza place. You got to order it soon because the cutoff is tonight, all right? So put in your pizza order today. You can get my personal favorite, which is tomato bacon ranch. It is so good. Tomato bacon ranch. Tomato, so it's healthy. You can't just get bacon ranch. That's so unhealthy. You need the tomato. Also, the coffee house Frappuccino of the day. Check out this video to see what it is.
Hi, my name is Abby, and today's special is Cascade. Come join us at the Boathouse tonight so you can get some free pizza, wings, and soda. Juniors and seniors, we can't wait to see you there. And if you fill out an application, you'll get a free t-shirt.
All my worries and carry all my cares.
All right, now, full disclosure, I know I talked about the Oreo one being really good, the white face from the other day, and that is really good. But this Frappuccino of the day is quickly climbing the ladder in my mind of the best Frappuccinos, and it's really in a fight for first place. So do we have any Frappuccino professionals here? You guys, you love Frappuccinos? Come on, I know there's more of you than that. You have got to stop in today and try the Cascade. It is peanut butter and chocolate, and it is so good. So good. So stop in today at the coffee house and try that out. And then also, juniors and seniors. How many juniors, seniors, and just graduated from high school do we have in here? We have a special VIP party only for juniors, seniors, and just graduated from high school tonight. And it's all kinds of free food, free ice cream, free pizza, free drinks, and if you fill out an application for the Bible Institute, free t-shirt as well. All right, so stop in and check that out. Speaking of t-shirts, we got all kinds of stuff from the camp store here today. Look at these awesome, colorful t-shirts right here with the On logo. And tomorrow on Robbie's Run, we're going to have a color war at the end of it, and so maybe you would get this because this will look great in a color war. It already looks like it was in a color war, and so this is a great shirt to get for tomorrow in the color war. This is like an old-fashioned color war shirt, pre-color. This is just a war shirt right here. Stop in and get one of those. Actually, I think we're pretty much sold out of those ones, so you might have to just get one of these ones, which this is a one-sided color war shirt. But seriously, this is these shirts are really going fast. They're really popular right now. You might need a tank top because it's the volleyball tournament today. You might need to get one of these. Show off your guns a little bit at the volleyball tournament. Also, we pretty much sold out of the white ones or the gray ones, but we still have some of these red ones. This is such a nice quarter zip. It can really look sharp in one of these. And it keeps you warm. Yeah, there's some people that got the quarter zip on. It is the way to go right now. And if you do start to get warm, you just unzip it a little bit, and then you start to cool off. Yeah, only a quarter. A half zip is out of control. A quarter zip, doable though. We got some other books up there. This one called Own It, Leaving Behind a Borrowed Faith. A great book, especially if you maybe grew up in a place, in a home where your parents are Christians, or in a place where you have a lot of Christian friends. This book will help you make your faith your own. This one called The Cry of My Heart by Tim Hawkins. And you're going to love this book. It's really funny, but it's also a really powerful book. And then also, finally, Eric, this one is Lies Young Women Believe and the Truth That Sets Them Free. This would be a great book specifically for girls. Specifically for girls. There's also some books up there specifically for guys, but Eric decided to bring the one specifically for girls today. All right, so stop in at the camp store. Stop in at the camp store and check out everything that's going on in there. Also, an important announcement for you as it relates to tomorrow at 4 p.m. Tomorrow, what day is it tomorrow? And what is an important time for you tomorrow afternoon? 4 p.m. because we will have the world-renowned Jeremy the Illusionist. He will be right in here at 4 p.m. to do some great tricks. Now, you guys, I mean, it seems like there's illusionists all over the place these days. So you need to just get a sneak peek at how incredible this show is going to be. So here comes Jeremy right now with a little preview trick. Make some noise!
So, how y'all doing today? Yes? All right. I thought I'd do a little illusion involving this curtain, okay? There are many different illusions that can be done with curtains like this. Like, for example, a few years ago, I did a trick where I made a person appear with one, okay? So I thought this time I would make somebody disappear. Sound good? Yes? All right. I'm not going to make just anybody disappear. I'm going to make myself disappear. Ready? Check it out. Now you see me? Now you don't. I have completely disappeared. And I'm back. Was that good? Or was it pathetic? Pathetic? Lame? Ah, shucks. All right, tell you what. Let's do something different. Something that usually would never be done with a curtain like this, okay? We're going to take the curtain, we're going to wave it from side to side. And as I do that, something unusual is going to begin to happen. I begin to rise off the ground until I'm literally floating in midair. Boy, it feels great up here. Yes. Of course, I can't stay like this forever, so I just hold up the curtain again, begin waving it, and little by little, I begin to descend back down to the ground until safely back on solid ground once again. I'll be here tomorrow at 4 for a whole show. This is actually my 10th summer here doing this, so brought back a couple favorites from previous years and new tricks as well. Hope to see you then. Have a good day, everyone.
Crazy, crazy. Not the same, not the same. You got to be here to see Jeremy tomorrow. What time is it at? 4 p.m. Right back in here. Also, we have an awesome thing tonight. It's called Sneak Out. It's happening tonight. It's going to happen tonight. It's going to be a great activity. We'll tell you more about that in the evening meeting tonight. This afternoon, if you haven't had a chance to escape the room this afternoon, you can do that. You got it, not this room, the Escape the Room up on top of the rock. Sign up at the office for a time slot this afternoon. Try to set the record for the fastest time to escape the room. Also, there's arts and crafts today, arts and crafts. So if you want to do an art or a craft, you can do it today up on top of the rock. It's in the coffee house or top of the rock, one of those places. Check it out. Last thing, youth group family time. We got youth group family time today, right after Foam Fiesta. So you can see up here on the screen, where's the Lion's Den? You guys are going to be here in Pine Pavilion. Where's K.A. Hills Church? They're in the boathouse. Stake Bay Baptist. You guys are pumped up and in the coffee house. New Life Church. All right, you guys are right over here in this little building next to Pine. Suitland Road Baptist. All right, Picnic Pavilion, where the Gaga Ball is. And where's Pennsville Baptist Church? You are in the snack place porch, all right? In the porch of the place where they sell snacks. That is where Youth Group Family Time is. All right, that's it for our announcements. Make sure you guys go to Youth Group Family Time and you're not late to that today. Coming now this morning, can you guys please give another welcome for Jason Perkins coming with us to open up God's Word this morning.
Bumper time. Love me some Video Bumper. So good. Hey, I want to give away some Frappuccinos this morning. Frappuccino time. So here's what I need to know. Day one, we talked about something so important. We said before you can heal, you have to feel. Thank you, Eric. All right, day two, we talked about weapons. A little bit of jousting going on down the front here. That was a lot of fun. We said selecting the right weapon or the weapon that's right will help you to win the fight. Okay, very good. Yesterday's bottom line, who can tell me yesterday's bottom line? All right, this guy in the, looks like a straw hat. Is that a straw hat? It's not a straw hat? It's a paper hat. It's much cheaper than straw, which is good. All right, go ahead. Tell us, what was it yesterday? Oh, so close, but so far away. All right, this lady right here. Whoa, we can't hear. What was it? That's it. Nothing can pull you from a God who loves you. Or another way you could say it is, nothing can pull me from the God who loves me. Okay? Nothing can pull me. Now, here's what I'd like to do. Tommy Sewell tells me that Frappuccinos cost $2. But they're not $2. You know the reason why Tommy thinks they cost $2? It's because Tommy's the director of the island. He's never paid for a Frappuccino here in his life. Okay? Come on. For reals. You know, when Tommy goes to that place where they sell snacks, because I've learned what happens when you call it by its real name. So when he goes and he orders a Frappuccino, there's not an exchange of money that takes place typically, okay? So I think, Tommy, we think they're $3, right? We think they're $3. So I have a cold, crisp $20 bill for you. So that means you can take 5 of your friends, but if we get another $1, that means you can take 6 of your friends to go and get Frappuccinos today. Great job. Great job. You and 6 of your friends are going to Frappuccino Town. Yeah, Frappuccino Town. Frappuccino Town is my favorite place. That girl just won. She just got 6 brand new friends, which I'm super excited about. 4 of them are right here. Right here. 4 of them are down the front. And I think Lindsay probably come as well because she loves Frappuccinos. All right. About 7 years ago, my family, we moved to the city of Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas is home to the University of Texas Hook'em Horns. And the University of Texas is a great place. But here's one of the negative things about Texas, okay? I'm just going to be honest with you. I lived there a long time. I love Texas. But Texas is really flat. I mean, it's like a pancake. You can look for days in Texas and see like the other side of the state almost. Even though it's a big state, it's really flat. And my family, before we moved there, we lived here in the Adirondacks. So we like the mountains, we like heights, and Texas was just extremely flat. So here's what we used to do for fun. I know this sounds really lame. I know that up front. Before I even tell you, you're going to be like, that is so lame. But we used to go on these really big overpasses in Austin, these massive concrete overpasses. It was like the state of Texas had too much money on its hand, had like a lot of leftover steel and concrete, so they would build these massive overpasses over the highways for no reason. Because when you would look at them, you'd be like, man, there is a lot of space between those roads that is unnecessary. There was one particular overpass about 5 minutes from our house. We called it Mount 183A. The road was called 183A, and we just threw mountain in front of it because there were no mountains where we lived. So we would call it Mount 183A. And this is how lame our family was, okay? We drove a really cool Dodge Grand Caravan, okay? Anybody ridden in a Dodge Grand Caravan? You can admit it. It's okay. It's okay. You guys are too scared to say it, aren't you? The Dodge Grand Caravan, here's what I know about Dodge. I don't know why they called it the Grand Caravan, because there was nothing grand about it. It's just a basic minivan, okay? But we would get up on Mount 183A, and we would actually, how many drivers we got in the house? Anybody driving? Okay, so we got some drivers. Before I tell you what we would do, because I know they're recording this, people are watching online, I am not condoning what we used to do. I'm not even suggesting that you do it, okay? Because it's completely unsafe. But we would get on top of the overpass, and it looked a little bit like this up on the screen. And as we would come down the overpass, we would actually put our hands up in the air in the minivan and ride it like a roller coaster. It was a lot of fun. And you've got families that do this kind of crazy stuff as well. I know you do. We'd ride it like a roller coaster, and we'd kind of scream the whole way down. Now, fortunately for me, on 183A, Mount 183A, are these things on the sides of the mountain, okay? Does anybody know what those things are called? Guardrails. Very good. They're called guardrails. Guardrails look a little bit like this. This is a really good-looking guardrail, okay? And I am so grateful for the guardrails on Mount 183A. And here's the reason why. As I would come down that mountain, fake mountain, we would put our hands up in the air. I'm so grateful that if the van had steered off course, that we would have run into one of the guardrails and not died, because that would be really kind of a terrible thing. So I'm so grateful for guardrails. Guardrails, though, at the end of the day, all they are is a system designed to keep vehicles from straying into dangerous or off-limit areas. That's all they are. They're just a system. It's a tool that's designed to keep you from straying off into dangerous or off-limit areas. Now, here's some common places that we find guardrails. You see them on bridges. You guys have seen them on bridges. See them on medians. Medians are a really good place to have a guardrail because it stops the oncoming traffic from hitting you head on. That's kind of helpful when you're driving, okay? Medians, we see them on curves. So even around here in the Adirondacks, when I drive around the mountains, kind of curvy roads, I'm so grateful for guardrails. And then oftentimes you'll see them in dangerous areas. There's really two things that guardrails do for us. Two things. They direct and they protect, okay? So they protect us from these areas that we don't want to get into as we're driving down the road because they're really dangerous. And then they also help to direct our vehicle in the direction that we want to go. Now, I need some help this morning because I think there are some people that are not sure what a guardrail really works like. So I need you four guys, if you would help me out. I need you just to come and lay down across the edge of the stage here, like toe to head, that kind of thing. Just go ahead and lay down. Now, let's do it on your side so we get a little bit of a rail happening. Oh, he's a big rail. That's a large rail. Yeah, we go. Or toe to head to head. That's fine. English is his second language. It's all good. So as you're driving down the road, you're driving along, and the guardrail stops you from getting into all the junk that's down here, okay? But you notice something about the guardrail. The guardrail is not in the junk down here where you would crash and die. The guardrail's actually in a safe spot. It's along the edge of the road. This is still safe. Like, I could drive beyond the guardrail on the other side and I wouldn't die, but the guardrail is positioned in an area that's still safe. Here's the reason why guardrails do that. This is a good-looking guardrail, by the way. Don't fall asleep on me. Guardrails create minor damage to avoid major consequences. So I'm driving my car down the road, and if I run into the guardrail, it's just going to scrape the side of my van. But if the guardrail wasn't there, I would actually die and total my vehicle. So when I'm on Mount 183A and I'm driving along, the guardrail helps to create minor damage, helping me to avoid major consequences as I'm driving. Hey, would you give these guys a big round of applause? Thank you, guys. The human guardrail. Here's the thing I love about guardrails. They help us to minimize the damage and the consequences when we're driving. But here's what I think is true for every single person in the room. Even if you're not a follower of Jesus yet, I think guardrails are something that we all need in various areas of our lives. Not just in driving, but we all need guardrails in various areas of our lives. But here's the problem. Here's a problem when it comes to the day and age that we live in as it relates to guardrails. The problem is this. Today's culture doesn't promote guardrails. It doesn't. In today's culture, nobody is promoting to you, you need guardrails in different areas of your life. In fact, I would even go as far to say this, that today's culture not only doesn't promote guardrails in our lives, but it even makes fun of guardrails. It even encourages us not to have guardrails in our lives. Think about these next couple of things that I put up on the screen. When it comes to alcohol today, Here's what today's culture says. Drink responsibly. Drink responsibly. That's not a guardrail. Are you kidding me? That's not a guardrail. A guardrail is in an area that is still safe, not down in the danger zone. You never see a guardrail down at the bottom of a canyon hoping to save a vehicle as it drove off the mountain, hoping that if it bumps up against it, it'll just cause minor damage. You never see that. But yet when it comes to some very important areas of our lives today, our culture doesn't promote a guardrail. It says when it comes to alcohol, oh, just drink responsibly. Doesn't talk about ages, doesn't talk about when you should or when you shouldn't, just drink responsibly and you'll be okay. I've never had a conversation with somebody that struggles with alcoholism who said, well, if I had just drunk responsibly, then I wouldn't have become an alcoholic. That's not the case. And yet in many areas of our lives, our culture today is not promoting guardrails for us. In fact, they're encouraging us with the exact opposite. Think about this next thing that we run into in our lives all the time. Think about this, sex. You know what culture says today? Wait until you are ready. Well, I don't know about you, but if you're a dude and you have a pulse, you're ready. Let's be honest. Guys in the room, can we be totally honest with each other? If you and I were having a Frappuccino up at the place that sells snacks, and we're totally honest with each other, we'd all say, I'm ready. Takes no time at all. I'm ready. That's not a guardrail. Girls, think about it for just a moment. Wait until you are ready. That's not a guardrail. You know what that is? That's down in the canyon that wants to destroy your life kind of thinking. That's what that is. This next area of our lives, when it comes to drugs, unbelievable. You know what our culture promotes? Our culture tells us we just need to talk about the effects of the drugs on our lives. I live in a state in our country that has legalized marijuana use. You know what the mayor of our city has identified as one of the top issues in our city? Marijuana use. It's like, Perko, when it comes to homelessness, you know why they're all living on the streets in our city? Because we legalized marijuana. Hey, Perko, you know why we have people that are doing crimes and taking their lives and getting into much harder and more difficult, tough drugs in their life? Marijuana use. All we do is we say, it's okay, we'll just talk about the effects of it and then everyone will know how to handle it. That's not true. That's not a guardrail. This last one, some of you are just now starting to get jobs and you're starting to earn money. Man, I'm telling you, some of us old people in the room like me that are a little bit overweight and we've lost a lot of hair. Can I encourage you guys with something? You have a chance. You have a chance now in your life to get this right. Before you begin to make the mistakes that many of us have made, you have a chance to get this right. When I sit down with people over coffee or they come into my office and they tell me about their life, the greatest regrets that I hear people talk about are from areas of their life that they didn't have guardrails. The greatest regrets that I hear people talk about are from areas of their lives that they didn't have guardrails. And this one is huge. When it comes to money, our culture says you should just consolidate your debt. A guardrail says you should never get into debt. When it comes to our lives, guardrails are so incredibly important. And here's why they're so incredibly important. Because I think as we talk about fearless this week, we're talking about fearlessness. I actually think that there is an area of our lives where fear is important. There is an area of our lives where being gripped by fear is so important. Here's where it's at. We all need to have have a healthy fear of sin in our lives. We need it. We need to have a healthy fear of sin in our lives. We've been talking about fearlessness this week, but I just want to, for just this morning, talk to you about this one area of our lives where I'm convinced we all need to have a healthy fear in our lives of sin. We've been talking about this guy named Paul. Paul, who was part of the first century church, the very beginning of Christianity. Paul was the greatest promoter of Christianity in the first century. And Paul would write these letters. We looked at one the other day for a group of people living in a city called Ephesus. Yesterday, we looked at another letter that Paul wrote to a group of Christians living in Rome. Paul was like a letter-writing machine, okay? He loved writing letters to people. And in the same letter we looked at on Tuesday to the group of people living in Ephesus, we find Paul talk about, not in these exact words like guardrails, but we find Paul talking to this group of Christians about creating guardrails in their lives. In Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 15, he says it this way. He starts off by saying, "Be very careful then how you live." Be very careful then how you live. Can I just let you in on a little bit of my whacked out brain for a moment? Every time I read this passage, be very careful then how you live, I think of Elmer Fudd, who used to go around saying, be very, very careful, as he would hunt the rabbits. I don't think that's what Paul meant, but that always comes to my mind. But Paul was saying this, be very careful then how you live. My wife, about 8 years ago now, I was on a business trip up in Ohio, and my wife and kids were living in Austin. She sent me a text message. She sent me a text message of a picture of a dog with a little caption that said, "Welcome to the family." It was a total shock to me, but my wife had gone on Craigslist and she had purchased a little puppy. They'd been talking about wanting a dog for years, and finally she had the guts to go on Craigslist while I was out of town, and she purchased a dog. This little puppy, though, is such a fantastic dog. It's a miniature schnauzer, really cute. He wears a bow tie. It's so over the top, but we love our dog Cooper. He's a great dog. What we've trained Cooper to do, though, in our backyard is go to one spot in the yard where there are some rocks. It's about a 6 foot by 6 foot area. And we've trained Cooper to only go and do his business in this area. You know what that means? Every time I'm walking in that section of the yard, I'm very, very careful where I walk, because I know I'm going to hit something I don't want to hit. So as I'm walking through that section of the yard, I'm constantly aware of, I'm constantly looking out for all of the little deposits that Cooper puts there. That's exactly what Paul is saying about this life. There are things in this life that will distract you and ultimately could destroy you if you're not careful. Paul's saying, as you walk through this life, be very careful. Keep a constant eye out. Always be looking for the things that can distract and destroy your life. Be very careful then how you live. The next phrase that Paul writes to these friends in Ephesus is this. He says this, not as unwise, but as wise. Not as unwise, but as wise. Hey, if you're a follower of Jesus, even if you're not a follower of Jesus, I want to encourage you to do something. There is a book in the Old Testament. That's the first half of the Bible. There's two different halves of the Bible. First half is Old Testament. That's the history of how God dealt with his chosen people, the people of Israel. Second half of the Bible, that's where Jesus shows up on the scene and how God deals with his people today. In the Old Testament, there's a book called Proverbs. Even if you're not a follower of Jesus, I dare you, I double dog dare you, to read the book of Proverbs. It's filled with incredible wisdom. You want to be somebody that's wise, You want to be somebody that's knowledgeable. You want to be somebody that can live and go through life without having to fall into a lot of pitfalls. The book of Proverbs is a great place to start. Even if you don't follow Jesus yet, I challenge you to read the book of Proverbs. Super easy read. In the book of Proverbs talks about the wise and the unwise person all the time. Look this way for just a second. When it comes to somebody being wise, the book of Proverbs describes a wise person as somebody that understands this very important truth, that everything in life is connected. The wise person understands that everything in life, every step I take, every decision I make, they are all connected. The wise person understands that when I'm 14 or 15 years old and I post something on social media, the wise person understands that's connected to a job that I might have when I'm 24 and 25 years old. Because the wise person knows that when I go apply for a job after I finish college, the person hiring me is going to look at all my social media history to find out what kind of person I really am. That's what a wise person does. A wise person understands that all of life is connected. The person that I date, the people I hang out with, what I spend my money on, all of the decisions that I make, they are all connected to my life. That's what a wise person is. They understand that all of life is connected. Paul says, be very careful. Have a healthy fear of sin. Because if you're wise, you're going to understand that all of life is connected. He goes on to say this, and I love this next line, so important. Making the most of every opportunity. Making the most of every opportunity. There are some other translations of this letter that Paul wrote. Different people, because Paul originally wrote this letter in the language of that day, which was Greek. So over time, different people have taken the original letter that Paul wrote and they've translated it into English so that we can understand it today. In one of the translations that somebody did from Paul's original letter, they use this phrase. Listen carefully for just a moment. They use this phrase, redeeming the time. Redeeming the time. You know what that means? It means that you can buy back, you can purchase back time in the past and restore it for today. Probably one of the most incredible messages of hope for us today is that we can redeem the time. Because here's the reality. You've made mistakes. I've made mistakes that are connected to the rest of my life. And there are some of you in the room today, including myself, that have regrets because we didn't establish guardrails in our lives at some point in time. We have regrets, but here's the hope that's found in Jesus. You have the ability to redeem the time. You have the ability to restore, through Jesus, the mistakes of your past. You don't have to live with regrets. Paul's saying this, make the most of every opportunity. So every single day, you have the choice, you have the ability to get up and say, God, I've got so many opportunities today. I want to be very careful how I use them. I want to be a wise person that understands that all of life is connected. God, would you help me today to make the most of every opportunity? And for those of you like me who have regrets in our lives, you have the opportunity to buy back that time, to redeem that time, to restore that time. You have the opportunity to be able to do that. And then finally, Paul wraps up this verse by saying this. Here's the reason why we have to live this way. Because the days are evil. There is evil in this world, and you know this. I don't have to tell you what evil there is in this world. You know what it is. You're faced with it every single day. The importance of being wise, being careful, and creating guardrails in our lives is because we live in a day and age that is filled with evil. Now, here's what I know to be true. Because I was 14 one time, I was 15 at one point, I was 16, I was 17, I was 18. When it came to guardrails in my life, when I was in high school, I would hear somebody at a camp like this, or I'd hear some guy at a church meeting talk about how you need to create guardrails in your life. You know what I used to ask? I actually asked this out loud to a person that was speaking one time. How close can I get to sin then? That's what we tend to ask. I asked it this way. How much can I touch a girl and it's not a sin? Is kissing her okay? Is holding her hand okay? I understand that sex before marriage is not okay, but how close can I get to the sin? In other words, what I was really saying is, I don't want a guardrail when it comes to sexuality in my life. I want to know, where's the edge? Where's the line so I can get as close to the edge as I possibly can without falling over? You know what that is? That's unwise. Paul would say, don't be unwise. Be wise. Create a guardrail in your life. So here's what I've done in my adult years. I know this sounds so bizarre. I'm just going to let you know up front. This sounds really lame, probably even a little pathetic to you. I don't ride alone in a car with a person of the opposite sex. I have meetings for our website team at our church, with our communications director, with the people that run our website. You know what we do? We leave our church office. We both get into our separate cars. We drive up the same highway for 10 minutes to go to that meeting. What a waste of gas. What a waste of time. You know what that's called? That's called a guardrail. Is there anything wrong with riding in a vehicle with somebody of the opposite sex as a married guy? Not anything wrong with that at all. That's not a sin. There's nothing in the Bible that says, Perko, you shouldn't ride in the car with somebody of the opposite sex because you're married. You won't find it in the Bible. You know what that is, though? That's a guardrail. It means I don't want to figure out how close to the edge I can possibly get without falling over. I want to create a guardrail in a safe place of my life so that if I bump up against the guardrail, it will prick my conscience and divert me from falling over the edge. The moment that my conscience bumps up against the guardrail, I want to pull back and I don't want to get close to the edge. Here's another crazy thing I do. Every office that I've ever had, I like to have a massive glass window in the door of my office. About 5 years ago, our business moved into a new office building. There was no glass window in the door of my office. So bizarre. I know, it's so weird. I'm going to let you know that ahead of time. I got my drill and I took the door off of my office. For 2 weeks, I was without a door in my office. People would walk by, they'd say, Perko, where's the door to your office? And I'd say to them, oh, I'm getting a window installed in the door. Is there anything wrong with not having a window to the door in your office? Not a bit. There's nothing wrong with that. The Bible doesn't say every office you have should have a window in the door of it. The Bible doesn't say that. It's just a guardrail that helps me so that as I bump up against the guardrail, it causes minor damage instead of major catastrophe in my life. So let me ask you a question. We don't plan to wreck our cars. We don't plan to wreck our lives. Then why don't we plan not to? Those guys that build the roads for us, they plan for us not to wreck our vehicle over the side of the mountain by putting a guardrail up. Why don't you and I then plan not to wreck our lives by putting up guardrails in our lives? So let me ask you this next question. This is a little more personal. Don't say it out loud, just think about it. What area of your life do you need to create a guardrail in? Think about it right now. students at the BI, students here at camp, staff members, even youth leaders that have brought churches to camp. Let me ask you again, what area of your life do you need to create a guardrail in? You know the area of my life. I just told you. When it comes to sexuality, I have a beautiful bride of nearly 20 years. Her name's Kristen. You got to see a picture of her. And I have 3 amazing kids. They're going to be at Bible Hour tomorrow. Can't wait for it. I don't want to wreck my family's life. I don't want to wreck my marriage. So why don't I plan not to? I don't want to wreck it, so why don't I plan not to? I know the same is true about you. You don't want to wreck your life. You want to live a fulfilling life. You want to live a joyful life. You want to live a grand life. Even if you're not a follower of Jesus, this is not a Jesus, not Jesus thing. We all want to live amazing lives. Why don't we plan not to wreck them by creating some guardrails in our lives? At the end of the day, guardrails not only protect, they direct as well. Guardrails will not only protect your life. I'm convinced that guardrails have protected so many areas of my life. But I also know this. I would not be at Word of Life Island this week if it wasn't for guardrails in my life. Not only have they stopped me from going over the edge in areas of my life, not only have they protected me from so many mistakes that I could have made, but you know what else they've done? They've become a director for the direction of my life. I am where I am today, not just because of the protection of them, but also the direction of them. So let me ask you, where do you want to head in life? Where would you like to be in 5 years, or 10 years, or 20 years from now? My challenge to you, create some guardrails in your life now, not just to protect your life, but also to direct your life. Let me pray for us this morning. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the wisdom that Paul gave to those early Christians living in Ephesus. God, I thank you that for thousands of years you have preserved these letters that Paul wrote. What a miracle that we have access to the very letters that Paul wrote to these Christians. Thank you for that miracle. Thank you, God, for preserving these letters and words of wisdom that we can live by. Now, God, I pray, myself included, would you help each one of us today to understand exactly what it is you want us to hear, to know what to do with it, and then ultimately, through your Spirit, give us the power to do the thing that you want us to do. And I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason. A good challenge to us again today. We got quiet time coming up in just a couple minutes, and then after that we'll be at the turf court for foam fiesta, and then we got youth group family time and volleyball this afternoon. Another packed day on Word of Life Island. Thank you guys very much. You are dismissed.
About ready to go home. I just wanna go.